Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, Ticket listeners. I am Ellie Apfel, and welcome back to Behind the Black and Gold. It's been a while, but we're back, and we're better than ever. I am joined here with the one and only, so obviously I say yes, we're talking about Behind the Black and Gold, but I'm talking today to the person that's actually behind the black and gold. I'm here with Braden Smith, Nebraska Wesleyan's SID. Braden, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm honored to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
I'm really excited to have you here today.
I'm excited. I was honored when I got the text from you. So.
I wanted to do this with you just because I feel like you just are underappreciated. And we need to bring to the light what you actually do. And I feel like people don't know what you do because there's a lot of behind the scenes and we need to give credit where credit is due. But Braden, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell the people who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Braden Smith. I am a graduate from Nebraska Wesleyan just recently, last December. I played on the men's basketball team there. So I was recruited to play there, went to school there. During my time there, during my undergrad, I worked for all 4 years in the SID department under 3 different people. So it was super cool to be able to see kind of how they all did their job a little bit differently, and just I really embraced it and just always wanted to try something new. And immediately when I got there, I just fell in love with it. So I knew it was what I wanted to do. And then recently after I graduated, the job opened up. So I applied and just getting going here in my first year, but it's been really busy and really fun. And I'm just trying to embrace every part of it.
So going back to the beginning of everything, how did you kind of come to find the SID world? Were you approached or did you go to it? What was kind of the background behind that?
Yeah, so it was kind of a funny story. I didn't even know what an SID was, what an SID did. I just knew I was going to college at Nebraska Wesleyan and wanted an on-campus job, to be honest. So kind of just looked through the job board. I saw something that sounded interesting, applied for it, and then I got an email from the SID at the time, Alex Linden. He sent me an email and asked me to come in. So I just really wanted to kind of deep dive, ask him kind of what he did and what I would be doing. And it just sounded really interesting. And like first day on the job, even though I was doing kind of the nitty gritty work that isn't necessarily the most fun, it was just super cool being in the athletic department, in the athletic building, around all the coaches and just doing what you can to help them and to help the athletics department. So that's the part I really loved about it. And then, as you kept earning experience, just kept doing more and more. And that's when I got into the fun stuff, which I love to do today.
So Alex Linden, how long was he there before the next one came in?
He was actually only there for a semester while I was there. I can't remember how long he'd been there before that, but I was only under him for a semester. So then he left the winter. I can't remember what year that would be. And then, Riley Egger came in and he was there for about a year and a half.
So during those times, you kind of were doing everything, weren't you?
Yep.
You were a student, you were also on the basketball team. What was that like for you?
It was hard. But like I said, I just really, really enjoyed it. When I first got there, my first semester is kind of didn't really know what I wanted to do with my career. And I just found it. And I say I found it early in my college experience. So I just really wanted to kind of take the next step in those experiences. So when Alex left and Riley came in, just kind of working with him, doing everything I could to help him. And then actually when Riley left, I was going into my junior year, and the assistant athletic director at the time asked me if I would kind of take over while they searched for a new SID, which ended up being Canyon Cooksley. And so really having that summer to be like the only person in the office working there full time, seeing all the coaches every single day, and just kind of doing a lot of the behind the scenes work. It was really cool to kind of have that responsibility at such a young age and something that was really cool to put on my resume that not a lot of people have.
Yeah. So did you know about Nebraska Wesleyan when you were in high school and kind of understood what was going on there?
Yes. Yeah. So they had obviously a really good basketball program. They won the national championship in 2018 while I was in high school. So that was a really big draw. My now wife went to Nebraska Wesleyan and ran on the track and field team. So
That's
she
so
was here.
crazy to say you have a wife
I
now.
know. Yeah, June. So, yep.
Congratulations
Thank
again.
you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so her experience and kind of just the way she talked about the culture, and she was like, "You just like come visit and see what you think." And she was right. Like the moment I stepped on campus, it just felt like home. Met with Coach Wellman and some of the basketball team, and so they were just very friendly and guys that I wanted to be around.
Mhm.
And I met with Gina Chambers, the head of the sports management program, which I knew I wanted to kind of pursue. And she really just made me feel welcome and kind of just drew a path where I feel like I could succeed. So it was an easy decision from there.
Everything just kind of lined
Yeah,
up
it
where it
really
needed to
did.
be.
It really did.
So you said the nitty-gritty of things. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that people don't know about when it comes to SID. What are some of the primary responsibilities and roles that you have?
Yeah, I was telling you before, it's really hard to describe. I always
Yeah.
kind of like trip myself up when people ask what I do. I'd say just the overarching aspect of my job is to promote our Nebraska Wesleyan's athletic department and the student athletes and the coaches to the best of my ability. So that includes all the social media, the NW Athletic social media. We have a website, so I make the website happen,
Mhm.
I guess, uploading everything to the website, taking photos and videos of athletes. I'm the kind of mediator between the athletes and coaches to the media, also to our conference office and to the NCAA. So it's just a lot of moving parts, and like the nitty gritty stuff is just a lot of stuff that goes on the website. So every single athlete at Nebraska Wesleyan, we try to get them a bio
Mhm.
that talks about their high school experiences, what they did their freshman year, all that type of stuff. Sorting through photos, we take hundreds of photos at every
Yes.
home game, making sure we have kind of photos for every single player that they are labeled so that they're easy to find when we need them. Is a lot of the nitty gritty work that can take some time and not necessarily the most fun,
Mhm.
but is necessary
Yes. That and people there has unfortunately there is a person that has to do the not so fun stuff, but
for
there
sure.
is also some upsides to it. You get to be at every single sporting event.
Yep.
You get to experience those things with the players.
Yep.
But you were obviously there for since your freshman year,
Hmm.
and things kind of changed when Canyon came. I kind of feel
Hmm.
like there was just a shift into things, how the social media was ran,
Hmm.
how there was more pictures taken, videos, things like that. Do
Yep.
you feel like you have kind of used like the same things that Canyon was using now that you are like our actual SID now? Are you
Yep.
using kind of the same methods or just kind of making sure that the flow is the same?
Yeah, I would say so, especially, early on. He was a great leader and kind of showing me how to do things. Like I said, he was really early on in his career,
Mhm,
and I was able to be there for the entire summer. So even kind of showing him how we do things a little bit. But yeah, he had a kind of unique storytelling aspect of it that I kind of
mhm,
use and try to make my own little tweaks on it. But yeah, he really emphasized improving our social media, and I think he did a great job. Like you said, taking some really high quality pictures, and so just very engaging content for the social media. So that's what I'd say I take from him for sure is kind of having that content plan that we have, and just trying to use it to grow our social media
mhm,
content so that we have recruits that see that. I think it really does make a big impact. And you can see it with our athletics now.
mhm. I have if you could compare to other conference like teams
Hmm.
in our conference,
Yeah.
I do think that our social media and a lot of our like this our like basketballs and volleyballs,
Hmm.
we have a really good look compared to
Yeah.
other just a very sophisticated look, and it's
Hmm.
all just, like, very in unison, which I think is really good when you have a social media page, especially on Instagram, and didn't Canyon have, like, people we were, like, hoping to get more followers and
Yep.
things like that? We had a follower count.
Yep. We still do it, and it's really cool just to see. I have a student that kind of keeps
Mhm.
updating it every week, and it's like, wow, we actually did gain like
Yeah.
15 followers that week. So it's really cool to kind of see what we're doing, and just kind of chart that out. And we're still trying to get better, have better plans, and so that's a goal of ours
Mhm.
for sure.
So, we'll get into what kind of, like, when there's multiple games
Hmm.
happening on one day, but what does a typical day look like for you when there are no games,
Hmm.
nothing's really going on? What are you doing on those days?
Yeah, typical day is hard. I feel like every day is a little bit different. But yeah, going to the office pretty early. So especially at the beginning of the week, I want to make sure I kind of have everything written down. It stresses some other people out, but I'm a big sticky note person. Um, and so just kind of writing down our events and kind of what we need from those events. So for all of our home events, we need like game programs. So I want to make sure I get those done early in the week because those need to go to print. Make sure those are kind of double checked and proofread by people that I trust. And so that's kind of what I do early on in the week. We also try to do preview stories, which I have some great students that are interested in writing. So they help me out with those because for 22 sports, it can be hard to
Yeah.
get a preview story out for every single event that we have going on. So try to get those done early on in the week and posted at least a day before their match so people can kind of read up on what's going to happen and what they can expect from the match. And then, by midweek, games are usually starting to go. So all the game day things that my office requires, and then recaps after the game is kind of all that. And then, like I said, just make sure the website is up to date and bios and photos. Those are always kind of the constant in my office. That if there's nothing to do, there's always
Yeah.
something to do. So
Exactly. I feel bad because I was doing stories and stuff like that last year, and then you came in, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm really busy." But I
yeah,
think it's just because
it's all right.
stories are so different. Like everybody wants to do like people want to make graphics,
Mhm.
people want to go and take pictures. Like
Yeah.
everybody wants to do the fun stuff.
Yep.
And
And then
to,
you're just left. Yeah,
for
yeah.
some, writing a story is fun, but it's just you have to get it right. And if you
Yep.
don't get it right, some people will be a little upset with that.
Yeah,
There's always opinionated people when it comes to even in D3 sports,
definitely.
for sure.
Yeah.
But eventually I'll write you. If you
Okay.
really need me, I'll write you a story
Okay.
writing.
Okay. It might
I'm
come
here
down
for
to
you.
that.
Okay.
I'm
Just
gonna
let
hold
me
you to
know.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So you've been here for a long time. You've been doing this a lot.
Mhm.
What are some differences that you've seen from when you started in the department to now?
Yeah, I think my responsibilities have just grown a lot.
Mhm.
But like I said, every SID is a little bit different. And I think I'm really blessed to have seen three different people and
Mhm.
kind of the way they do things. Alex was really technical. He really took pride in his writing, and so that's kind of what I want to get to. Just making sure everything's accurate, detailed. He really did a really good job with that. And then Riley Egger was kind of the middleman. He still took a lot of emphasis in the writing, kind of make it more streamlined a little bit, but also kind of getting us a little bit into the social media game as well. And then Canyon came in again, a very different writing style, but I think is really easy to read for our fans. And then, like I said, he really attacked the social media and
Mhm.
kind of got us off the ground there. So um, that's how I'd say it's developed in my 4 years, and then, I
And now
think
you're just a
yeah, trying to
you're the
trying to be all
child of
3.
all
Yeah,
SIDs brought
yes,
together, and you're
yeah,
just bringing everything into the light. I'm sorry,
yeah.
this mic is really making me upset. If you're hearing those sounds, it's me. I'm doing a little bit of ASMR. Okay. So obviously you have to find the balance when it comes to sports. We've obviously had problems in the past where some sports don't feel like they get the same recognition as others. What do you do, especially now? Because obviously some sports aren't going to have like the same audience or like the same amount of people that go to their events. How do you find the balance to make sure that every sport is getting this a decent amount of recognition that they deserve?
Yeah, I think, like you said, that's definitely one of the most challenging aspects of this job. I think not even necessarily only at D3, at every level,
Mhm.
there's going to be kind of a different way of doing things. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page as the coach. Just
Yeah.
having conversations with them, and I'm always open. My door is always open for them to kind of come in, make suggestions. If athletes have suggestions, I'll take those with an open mind as well. But just make sure I'm on the same page. Every sport needs to be covered a little bit differently. Their
Mhm.
stories are going to be different, just the way that it's played. But I just want to make sure, if something comes up, like if a student athlete has success, winning an academic award, winning like a community service award, I need to be in kind of the loop on that.
Mhm.
So just building those relationships with the coaches and kind of having that open conversation. How can I best represent your team has been really helpful for me in doing that. And like I said, I'm just kind of getting my foot in the door right now. We're just wrapping up fall
Mhm.
sports, and I'm getting into kind of the women or the basketball, the swimming, the wrestling, all the winter sports, and then I'll work my way to the spring sports. So, like I said, just making sure I'm on the same page with the coach, asking what they need, and then also bringing suggestions to them is kind of how I approach that.
Mm. So you've been doing this for a long time. You've been working in the SID world.
Mhm.
At Nebraska Wesleyan, they know you.
Mhm.
They've known you for a few years
Mhm.
now. What's it like to actually be like in the meetings that they have, like actual like staff meetings? Because now you're the one that has
Yeah,
to report to everything. What's that like now?
yeah, it's kind of a surreal experience. Like I never did that as a student, so I mean, going to first staff meeting is like I feel like I'm hearing things I shouldn't like
Yeah.
like
It's
as
like,
a
am I
student.
actually
Yeah,
supposed to be
it's
here?
like in our office, like the students that work for me have a lot of knowledge like before things get released. So
Mhm.
we always talk about like confidentiality. So I often had that, and so like when we have those staff meetings and things come up, I'm like, oh gosh, like can't tell anyone or anything. But it's been cool just to kind of see the coaches interact behind the scenes. Just kind of have a seat at the table
Mhm.
has been really cool. But I've really enjoyed getting to know our coaches, and we have a lot of new ones. So just
Yeah.
kind of building those connections of being kind of new employees has been really helpful. But yeah.
So statistics is a big thing that goes into the
Hmm.
SID, and I don't feel like a lot of people know that. Like there's
Hmm.
somebody behind the computers doing the
Yeah.
live streams, doing all of that. Were you self-taught when it came to statistics, or did somebody teach you?
Pretty self-taught. I'd say the NCAA with the software that we use, they have really good training resources with
Mhm.
videos, and you can kind of do training games and stuff like that. And I know like Canyon was really new to the software too, so kind of having a year experience in that is kind of something that I took over. And I would say, statistics like on game days is my baby, and
Mhm.
so I really want to make sure those are right, and I really enjoy doing those. But kind of stepping into this new role where I have to manage a lot of the game day atmosphere and roles that happen on game day. I try to, if I can, kind of step away from
Mhm.
that, and I have a couple of really good students that are interested in that, and so just kind of making sure that they're good, and I can always
Mhm.
jump in to help. But if we need someone to help, I'm always there. So that's kind of
Yes.
been the hardest part of like taking on the full time job is because every single sport I was the one kind of behind the computer doing it, and I
Mhm.
really enjoyed it. So that's been hard, but it's also cool to kind of see those students step into that role and also just manage them, and I'm always there if they need any help, so.
Have you had any like really well, I was probably there, but I probably just am, like blocking everything out. Some stressful moments there with statistics, like because
Yeah.
obviously you're trying to teach people how to do it, and also you want to have control over that. So
Mhm.
it's just like kind of butting heads right there.
Yeah.
What's the one thing time that you can think of that well maybe there's not just one, but a stressful time that you had this year?
Yeah, this year, very first volleyball game, it was just a chaotic day. It seemed like
Mhm.
nothing could go right, but, we had so for statistics, like, you need a game key that the NCAA gives you. For some reason, we're out there an hour before, just like we always are, kinda
Mhm.
getting the stats set up. The game key just was not going, and so I was trying to get a hold of support. They were
Uh-huh.
not very responsive, and so we just kinda had to panic, and, we ended up taking the stats, like, on a test game, which you can do 'cause it's just a lot easier, so
Yeah.
but having that, like, the stats weren't going up to the scoreboard like they usually do, and so I had people coming down asking me about that, and
It's like actually no, just
yeah.
if I don't know how I would respond to that because I know
It
that
was
you're a
my
very
very
like
first volleyball game as
yeah,
the SID, so it
you're a
was.
very calm and collective person, so I bet, like, you getting stressed out was not something that was
Yeah.
in the cards, and especially if people were coming up to you, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
really. You probably handled that way better than I would have handled that.
Yeah, I hope I did. I was kind of a blur, but
Yeah.
yeah, and so that happened. Our live stream, which my department also makes sure we have like all the live stream like connected, all the
Mhm.
equipment set up for our announcers that go up there. And so that broke mid game for about a set, so I had to go up there and kind of troubleshoot that. Yeah, that was kind of just a chaotic night, but it was also a lot of fun. First home volleyball game, the place was packed. I remember
Mhm.
just sitting there like nothing can go right. And then
Yeah.
I was just like sitting in our chair, and just we had a huge kill, and the place went nuts, and it was just really cool. I was like, nothing can go right, but like these athletes are just doing their
Yeah.
thing. Like our community came out and represented that night. It was just really cool atmosphere, but we got everything figured out. That was no more of that this
No
year.
more of that.
No.
You've been doing good so far.
Yeah.
Nothing too stressful.
Yeah.
But so far, what has been I know that you're a big basketball guy, so
Mhm.
you're probably gonna say basketball after this. But what has been one of your favorite sports to just like be at and be in the atmosphere of so
Yeah.
far?
Yeah, like you said, I'm pretty biased.
Mhm.
Being on the men's basketball team for 3 years, I would have to say that. But I think volleyball, like they have a really cool atmosphere. They're a fun team to watch. They're having a lot of success this year, and they've been a lot of fun. I would
Mhm.
say just everything that goes behind a football game is
Yeah.
really fun.
There's a
Like
lot of stuff that goes with that.
yes. When I kind of talk about all the stuff, I have to do for a football game, people are like, "Oh, like that must be so stressful." But it's kind of like those stressful moments that make the job a little bit fun when you see,
Mhm.
everything you have to do kind of come together for a game and you succeed. You see it all succeed. Is one of the most cool parts of the job.
Very rewarding. Well, we're going to throw it to our first break. And when we get back, we'll talk about less challenges, more happiness behind the SID. But we will be back on Behind the Black and Gold.
Across Nebraska,
Good job.
voters will have the chance to end the current government abortion ban. The government shouldn't be making decisions for families' health care, but right now they are. Ending the ban takes 2 votes. A vote against 434, the first initiative, and then a vote for 439, the last initiative. It's only this combination that will finally get the government out of the personal medical decisions of Nebraska families. Voting against 434 and for 439 ensures that when there's a medical emergency, it's Nebraska families who decide what to do, not the government. This vote against 434 and for 439 makes it so our Nebraska doctors can treat every patient. The government put this ban in place, stripping Nebraska families of their freedom, but you can end it with 2 votes. The first against 434, and then vote for 439. Paid for by Protect Our Rights.
Hi, I'm State Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised right here in Lancaster County. I understand the value of hard work by being involved in our family business. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. Nebraska families and business owners need lower taxes, more affordable health care, and a great education system. That is why I fought for the largest tax cut in Nebraska history, reduce the cost of health care, and help pass the biggest investment in our public schools. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th, paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Hi, this is Investigator Joe Villamonte with the Lincoln Police Union, asking you to vote for Carolyn Bosin for legislator. As a prosecutor, Carolyn Bosin has always supported law enforcement to keep our community safe. Carolyn Bosin has the experience we need. Carolyn Bosin is the only choice for legislator to keep our community safe. Join the law enforcement community in voting to keep our community safe. Vote Carolyn Bosin on November 5th.
Paid for by Bosin for legislature.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today. The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? That feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios on O Street. Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
The Link Grill, Draft, and Crafts is your spot in Southeast Lincoln for great food and drink. They're serving new menu items and a killer craft cocktail menu with your favorite draft beers. You'll love their pizza and new entree options. It's a great place to watch any live events, and they have music bingo every month. They have an aggressive loyalty program that rewards fans with 7% back on all purchases. Home of the Nebraska Power Hour every night from 8 to 9 p.m. Order online at thelnkgrill.com or stop in at 84th and Highway 2 today.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, 93.7 The Ticket listeners. We are back to Behind the Black and Gold. If you're just now tuning in, I'm here with Braden Smith. And if you aren't just now tuning in, you've been here the whole time, I'm still here with Braden Smith, our SID at Nebraska Westland. Braden, in the first segment, we talked about a lot of challenges and little things that go into SID because it's just a lot of nitpicky things. I know you're not a type of person that likes to talk like you got a big head and you're a very humble person. But what do you think is one of your biggest strengths when it comes to this kind of work?
Yeah, I would say just the experiences I've had. Yeah, I've kind of, like I talked about earlier in the first segment, I've got to experience a little bit of everything. So I think that's a strength. I really have kind of taken a little bit of a pride in my writing and just trying to tell the story, especially like in our game recaps, trying to still tell the story of the game the best way possible so that, the fans and people that weren't at the game can still kind of have that experience and experience the game a little bit and see how the team did. So that's kind of the portion I've really tried to emphasize, especially early on here in my first year. And without you, we don't have as many writers. So it's kind of
now you're making me feel bad.
I know. But yeah, just trying to that's obviously a need that we have. So just trying to take those really seriously. And
everybody wants to do the fun, glamorous stuff. Nobody understands.
Storytelling's fun.
Exactly.
Fun, yeah.
It is fun. Like when I remember last year when I was writing stuff, I'm like, oh, that sounded good.
Yeah, I know.
It's like I don't even remember what I wrote, but I remember it being really good.
You just got to get in the zone.
I know. And well, it just depended because if I did men's basketball. So if a game would go really long and be like, have to go home and be like, oh, now I have to write the story. And then sometimes if I was lucky, I would have you write it.
That's
but
true.
Now you have to write
occasionally. Yep, all of them. I've gotten good though. I can get them.
You've always been good.
I can get them done in like 20 minutes now. It's
not
that bad.
If you can get it done in 20 minutes, what goes into writing a recap for a game?
Yeah, so I like to obviously watch the game if I can. Sometimes it's not possible with 22 sports, and we're at a D3 level that not every school has the capabilities to run multiple live streams, and some of those sports that don't have live stats, they can be hard. So you're kind of just going off of what a coach sends you over an email. So, but just trying to dig into like games that do have stats, the box score. Try to tell a story off of that, especially if you can't watch a game. Who did the scoring? Who was kind of not necessarily had as great as stats, but you can tell really impacted the game or match, is really important, and just try to highlight those athletes and try to go off the play by play and see what were the key portions of the game. What switched the momentum? Was there a big run that we went on? Was there in football or something like that? If there's a turnover, soccer goals and stuff like that. So just trying to dive into the box score, or obviously just watching it with your eyes and kind of make those mental notes on the game changing things that happened.
So every sport is different, and some sports do better than others.
Mm-hmm.
What compares when you're writing the story for, say, we just lost really, really bad in a sport compared to we blew out a team? How do you kind of differentiate that?
Yeah. That was something, especially, during my undergrad, I really
Mhm.
struggled with, I'd say. I was like, I would, tell people like, I don't even know what to write.
Yeah.
But I've kind of grown in that category. You just have to, highlight the things that we did do well. And sometimes that can be hard. Sometimes it can seem like, we didn't do really anything well during a game. But just try to find those little things. And it can be hard because it's a media role. I'd say I'm, especially in that kind of realm, I'm a little bit of a blunt person. Like
Mhm.
we did get beat pretty bad, or we did blow out a team pretty bad. But it's fun. It's obviously, it makes my job easy when our athletics succeed. It gives me more to write about.
Mhm.
Hopefully we're winning some awards. Gives us more content, but there's always going to be those years that you have a down year. You're kind of in the rebuilding mode, as all athletics go through, and just try to highlight the positives of each game is important.
And Nebraska Wesleyan, to the listeners, if you don't know, we are in the American Rivers Conference.
Mhm.
This conference is mainly, well, it is all Iowa schools,
It is.
and then there's Nebraska Wesleyan. Love the ARC. Pros and cons to the ARC. Working now that you're top guy, working in the SID, working with the ARC, what are some pros and cons that you've seen now in the role that you are?
Yeah, I think pros is everyone in the ARC. All the athletic communicators and SIDs have been really welcoming, and their job is to communicate. So they're obviously great communicators with me. They help me out if I need something for our game program. If there's any mistakes on the stats, we have to communicate that. So they've been really helpful. We also have some really good assistant commissioners at our conference that I get to communicate with a lot, just making sure I'm doing things right. And if there's mistakes on their end or something like that, we can communicate that through. I'd say the cons. Most of the schools in our conference have more than one full-time role. They have like a director of sports information and then an assistant director. So I think we're one of two schools in the conference that are kind of only one. So everyone just kind of pushes their, if they need something in a very timely manner, I'm the only one they can go to. And sometimes, I have a lot on my plate that I need to get done before then. And they don't necessarily have that same problem. So that's kind of the dynamic that makes it a little bit hard. But I would say they're pretty easy to work with. And just saying, hey, I can get to that later this afternoon or tomorrow. Like when's the, latest I can get to you, and just making sure we're communicating that through. But I would say is one of the harder parts is just we have less time, to do a lot of stuff.
You're a one-man band.
One-man band. I got great students, though. I got great students.
So we talked about a typical day of what it looks like when there's no games. So recently, we've had, especially on Saturdays, like we had a football game, volleyball game, we had swimming, all of those things happening at the same time. That can be stressful, obviously, for so many people in the athletic department. But when it comes to, let's say a regular game day where maybe we just have, like last year we had volleyball and then we had soccer. What are some of the responsibilities when it comes to statistics, making sure that live streams are up, making sure that no social media posts are happening? What does that day kind of look like?
Yeah, so obviously try to get out there early, a couple hours before the game. Make sure we can get those stats set up early. I can get the live stream set up really early. So just kind of make my life a little bit easier where I'm not rushed. Where I know the rest of the day I probably will be rushed. So that's kind of the calming portion of the day is just getting there early, just kind of relaxed, making sure I have everything set up and ready to go for the first match. One of the hard things, especially I can't remember how long ago, if it was last Saturday or the week before when we had that kind of crazy week where we're managing 3 events going on at 3 different venues, and one being an outdoor venue. So for something like that, we need to run 2 different live streams. So just making sure that we have the camera set up. In our case, for our indoor gym, luckily we have a huddle camera, which makes it pretty easy. It's not carrying a physical camera out to the press box and setting up all the equipment that needs to be set up. But so we'll run that. We also need 2 statting computers that both are running at the same time. So it's just like a lot of equipment, making sure it's where it needs to be and on time so that we can have everything set up before the game. And then I would say just like managing my employees and the game day personnel, especially when we have a busy weekend like it. And a lot of our campus is athletes. And so like during this time, we were in a crossover season where both fall and winter sports are both in season and they're not necessarily, you can't rely on them to work those game days. So, some people had to work, every event that we had. So just making sure we're covered until they can get there and they're kind of running around too. And just kind of managing the day is what I try to do best.
And before Canyon and you came along, I don't feel like we were doing a lot of like media day things, but now you're like giving those chances to different teams and things like that. Media days are fun.
They are.
You take good pictures, but sometimes those teams media days can get a little crazy.
Yeah.
What is it like to be interacting with those many athletes? You're obviously, you can't learn all of their names, but when it comes to like media days, things like that, you're interacting with them. What is that like to just, because you're still the same age as us.
Yeah.
And you're just one step up. You're not one step up because you had to take a lot of steps to get there, obviously. But what is it like to be you in that situation when you're working with all of these athletes?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. It's cool to kind of see them in their element, acting as a team. You kind of see their team camaraderie and them having a lot of fun. It's also really one of the only times that I get to interact with them. My job is very behind the scenes. I'm at the scores table doing stats. I'm in an office. I don't get to see them every day. And so, a lot of the, especially freshmen and transfers, they really don't know who I am. So just kind of making sure they know who I am, what I'm there for, that they can come to me. That's really the time I get to do that is when we do those headshots and media day when I'm in front of them doing that. And yeah, like I said, it's just cool to see them having a lot of fun. I hope I'm definitely not like a picture take. Like Canyon was really good, I'd say before, at really learning the camera and just getting good at that. And I had not taken a picture since high school for journalism. So just kind of learning, how the camera works, what works best. Is I'm still in that learning process. So I hope I can get them some high quality pictures. And I've seen some go out on social media. So I hope that's a good sign, I guess.
Hey, people are reposting them. People seem to like them.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job.
Okay.
You might not think it, but you are, Brayden. You're doing a great job. So you obviously, you're a one-man show, but you also have little minions that are run around and do a lot of things where you have a lot of employees that are under you, me being one included. What is that like to, especially because a lot of these people that are working for you aren't all of them athletes. So they're also in athletics and they're also working for you. What's that like?
It's cool. I'd say, I'm in a pretty unique situation where, like you said, I'm like a year or two older than some of these students that I have. And so I'd say I'm really relatable to talk to as a student athlete who worked in that office. It can be really hard. We often talked about like practices that go on and lifts that they had to do and how tired and sore they are and how awesome the game was last night or if the game didn't go as well. So just having those conversations has been a lot of fun. Just be able to really relate to them and interact with them is a really cool experience that I don't think the past SIDs have necessarily had with the students. So I really enjoy that, but they do great work. Everyone has a different skill set, and which is really cool to see. And I think it's a really fun job to have as a student to kind of put in those office hours, producing some fun content that comes out of our office. So I hope they have fun with it.
Just forming an actual relationship
Yeah.
with your boss is nice. We're going to throw it to our last break. We're going to have a short segment kind of wrapping everything up, but we will see you when we come back after the break.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through November 12th is $2 off all crackers, $2 off on grind, $3 off on salami, and buy one, get one free on stew beef. Limit of 2. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Highway 2 in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the last segment of Behind the Black and Gold. I'm here with Braden Smith, if you haven't been here already, RSID at Nebraska Wesleyan University. We love it. Black and gold. Yip, yip, pride. To wrap things up, just kind of looking towards the future of everything, the SID world and the sports information world, especially with social media and the NIL coming out, things like that, it's growing. What are you seeing like with this? How do you see the role of sports information kind of evolving, and especially with like new media and technology coming into it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely growing. I talked to like for classes, I interviewed some other SIDs, like a Division I universities, kind of asked them about that as well, and they're like, you never really know what's going to happen. You just have to be ready to adapt. And like right now, social media is really trendy, so that's an emphasis that we're using right now. Video, like video highlights, fun videos, which I feel like we had a little bit last year, and we're trying to get that up and running again.
We're working
It
on
takes,
it.
yeah,
It's coming.
It takes time,
It's coming
and
along.
takes ideas, and it takes students. So I'm just trying to encourage that to get up and running and do whatever I can to help with that. That's obviously really trendy. AI is coming into a big portion of it. I know there are softwares out there that are starting to like sports specific kind of for this role that are out there to help write game recaps, to write feature stories, to help with social media. So I've already seen, other universities start to implement that. So I'm interested to see where that goes, if that kind of takes off, or if it, is just an idea and it doesn't end up working that well. But I know our conference office is experimenting with stuff like that. So I'm excited to talk to them about how it works and how they like it. And they're in their first couple months with it, and it sounds like they like it a lot. But so I think all those things are things that are going to affect the sports information job as a whole. And like they said before, you never really know what's going to come, but you got to be ready to adapt. And if it works, you got to be ready to kind of jump on and use it to the best of your ability to promote your brand.
Well said. Promoting the yip yip.
Promoting it.
What impact do you feel like your role has on the athletes, and especially on like the campus community?
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, one of my main goals is just promote the student athletes. I want to help them. My job helps them, win awards. I was talking to you before, like academic All-American nominations come in, and that's a big deal at Nebraska Wesleyan. I think we're in the top 15 of all NCAA. We're also in the top 10 for NCAA postgraduate scholarships. So that's something that my office helps with the nomination for. And it's a big deal for those student athletes to either to win, the all district in that category or All-American is a really big deal. So that's something I've been working on right now, but just trying to help them succeed in the best way I can, making sure, their bio has accurate information, that they can win conference awards, that they can win national awards, and then just really promoting them also to our student body, making sure, I think like 40% of our campus is athletes, somewhere around there. So making sure the rest of our campus is still involved in athletics and come out to a game. It's a lot of fun. I'm just having those promotions around campus and letting our campus know when we're doing well. And like if we advance to a national tournament or something like that, I think it really brings the campus together and as a whole.
You've obviously been doing this for a long time, but this is your first year as the big dog. What is one goal that you have for yourself, especially in this first year?
Yeah, I just want to grow our department. One of my goals I talked about in my interview is I want to make Nebraska Wesleyan one of the best represented universities in all of Division III, which is a tall task. But I think, we have the resources and the talent, and just utilizing our students. Our students have really great skill sets that I don't necessarily have. Like I can't just do that all by myself. And so really just finding that talent, producing the best content on social media, when we get into video, just making sure that keeps growing, helping our athletes win those awards and and grow is the way to do that. And representing the Yip Yip, like you said, and the NW brand to make it nationally known is the goal.
It takes a village.
Takes a village for sure.
There's just a bunch of little nitpick things. What is some advice, like if you could give one little piece of advice to somebody, especially that's trying to grow in this realm, especially in sports, because it's just like a growing thing that's happening. What's some advice that you would give to someone?
Yeah, just get involved early. I think that's something I was most proud of myself. Like I said, I was just searching for a job and found something, and just fell in love with it. So just get involved early. I think, like, especially if you're in college, an athletic department is a great place to work. Like, you're going to do hard work, not necessarily get paid a lot, especially if you're a student, if any. There's a lot of unpaid internships in sports that you need to take to grow. I think the athletics world as a whole is just kind of a step ladder. I mean, you have to start pretty low on the totem pole and work your way up. And just gaining that experience early on is really important. And you're going to do some hard work, but really valuable work as well.
And to wrap everything up, you're the guy with the information, the sports information director. What are some things that people can be looking for, some events that we have coming up?
Yeah, Tuesday we actually have our ARC quarterfinal for volleyball at home, so they're having a great season. They play Loris at 6 p.m. in Snyder Arena this Tuesday. We also have our women's basketball season and home opener on Wednesday at 6 p.m. So they have a pretty fresh squad. It'll be super fun to watch them. New coach, I think 15 newcomers on that team, so that'll be exciting to watch. First wrestling home duel is this Friday. They play and they face National Power in Wartburg. So it'll be good to see some really good competition and how they can compete. And then men's basketball will be getting going. I think they play Sunday the 24th, if that's
At
the
home,
right
yes.
day. Yep, that'll be their home opener. They just opened up the season this weekend, went 1-1. And then if you're not doing anything over Thanksgiving, that Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving, we host our Snyder Classic.
The best time of the year.
Four really good men's basketball teams in town, so you'll get to see some good basketball there. But that's kind of what's coming up.
I'm looking forward to that Snyder Classic. I look forward to it every single year.
It's fun.
It's good basketball.
Yep.
Braden, again, thank you so much for being here, just giving us the rundown and the actual behind the scenes of the Black and Gold. I'm hoping you give credit to all athletes, and we're trying to give credit to you. So thank you from all of NW Nation. Thank you for what you do.
Thanks. And thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
To all the 93.7 The Ticket listeners, thank you for listening, and we will see you next Sunday on Behind the Black and Gold. Have a good rest of your weekend.